these LaMelos here got a lot of folks hype. It's the slime Nickelodeon colorways, one of the most popular colorways from the LaMelo sneaker line last year were the Rick and Morty's. So kind of doubling back down, not necessarily a show particular, but you see that it's another collab, so they're expecting to do pretty well. Over here I saw this little excerpt here from Nick DePaula. I guess he wrote an article and kind of gave some insight on the LaMelo shoe deal and some of the success of that. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that one of the major things that I've kind of talked about over and over and over again is that I feel like for Puma, one of the things where I think that they've dropped the bag on is by not really fully embracing the marketing power of a LaMelo ball. And where I think the bag is dropped is not because obviously the sales are not going to be great, right? Because if you look at here, you see the traction that they created for him, or that he's created with them, is legitimate. The value that he's added to Puma is legitimate. It's no shocker to me, any of that stuff. Where I think that they fumbled the bag on, and I feel like a lot of folks, when they talk about the Puma deal and the success of it and why that's so cool, is they say the sky's the limit, could be a billionaire. And I think, like, yo, with as much popularity and traction, especially that first sneaker colorway, as cool as that design was, I feel like they could have taken things to the next level. See, it says Puma and LaMelo Ball's franchise consistently remains one of the most popular sneaker offerings at Foot Locker. So this is from folks from Foot Locker. Kids Foot Locker and Champ Sports said Holly Tedesco, Vice President of Marketing at Foot Locker Inc. Since the NBO 1 first launched, though, through the recent debut of the NBO 2, we have seen tremendous anticipation and interest from our customers. So you see that Foot Locker's like, yo, LaMelo is, ever since he dropped that first sneaker, it's been going crazy. Tremendous. She used a tremendous anticipation, tremendous love from them and their customers, right? You saw that from the jump. The impact has even extended into third-party resale platforms such as StockX, where Puma hasn't historically held firm footing. We talked about it in a recent video, how the LaMelo sneakers were moving on StockX. You saw the Rick and Morty one going up maybe 3 or 4 times the initial price over on StockX. And then so they've got numbers and details here about the searching of the LaMelo Ball name on StockX and how that skyrocketed, and then how also the NBO 1 has skyrocketed. All of these different things, all of these silhouettes, all good stuff. One of the things that I think is important to look at, let me see, is this slide here. It says 5 weeks later, the shoe smoked out at retails upon its launch. During its first 90 days, more than 120,000 pairs of the NBO 1 in 4 colorways were sold. 120,000 pairs of the NBO 1 in 4 colorways are sold. So to me, I think this was the first time that we got a number of how many units were out into the market and how many they sold out. And so I think somebody told me this on one of my recent videos where I talked about how things were selling out, but this new sneaker in the initial colorway didn't seem to be moving the same way the original ones were. And so the kind of way that somebody presented it to me was the initial shoe ran at a more limited run than the second shoe. And then also with the second shoe, they made it so you could only purchase one at a time, right? And then the reason why you do that is so you can impact this resale market, right? So you don't want most of your people buying your sneakers to be the ones who then going to take them and resell them, because you put out a shoe for $125. It doesn't feel good when you see that same shoe selling over on another platform for $175, $200, $400, especially when you have consumers who would be wearing that shoe, which then adds more to the presence and the exposure of the sneaker. Because that is one of the coolest things about the LaMelo, is that a lot of NBA players, a lot of basketball players actually wear the shoe. So when you have this shoe, then go to a StockX and then sit on shelves over there, you miss out opportunities for people to be out in those shoes, right? One of the coolest things was in last year's All-Star game, we saw in the celebrity game, one of the dude who had the biggest dunk of the night in the celebrity game was wearing the Rick and Morty's as well. So it made it an even more special thing, because it's like, damn, it must be the shoes. So that's cool. So you want to get that out there. So let me see. So there's some comparisons here where they say that LaMelo's sneaker launch was on par with Paul George's original sneaker, Steph Curry's original sneaker. Let me see. Let me go back over here. And then when they start talking about traction here, it says silhouette section under StockX search. Spikes for Puma MBO1 have jumped 6,000% year over year. In the platform's people section, inquiries for LaMelo Ball have increased 1,600% year over year. The next highest person is Tom Sachs, who has the general purpose sneaker with Nike, and then Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young, who has been dropping new, he's got his own sneakers coming out, and I guess people are starting to like those as well. So it just shows you that there's some traction there for LaMelo Ball. I saw this over there on the Instagram, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, bro. I'm excited to see this. I'm interested to know how many more pairs we got of this colorway here than we did last year, and then what is the total, because I think the holy quan of sneaker sales is once you get to that $1 million mark. And so when you see here that they have 4 colorways that sold out at 120,000 pairs, somebody do the math, what is that, 30,000 pairs per colorway, so 30 times 4 be 120,000, something like that. So 30,000 pairs, 30,000 pairs, 30. So it would be nice to know if this new sneaker, this colorway here is jumped up to 1 million pairs or such. If that was the case, that would be gravy and something that happened. So I think that this is our first take on, our first glimpse on raw data and sales numbers from LaMelo Ball. Shout out to Melo League and your boy Nick DePalma.